So for this is the object merge project, and what we're going to do is merge all these objects together. So I'm going to start with the cylinder and the sphere. So first thing I need to do is go and combine the two objects, either using Mesh Combine or the Modeling Toolkit Combine. Next, delete the inside face or the end cap face and slide the edge of the cylinder so that it lines up with the sphere. With these objects, you want to make sure you are going to delete all your inside geometry. So once you finish lining up the edge of this cylinder with the edge of the sphere, we're going to go in here and delete all these faces that are on the inside. So they also would have become inside geometry, and we're trying to create a nice hollow mesh so that everything smooths properly. So the next step is to start selecting these vertices, holding on the V key, and then snapping them to their to the cylinders. Okay, what this is going to do is take the inside faces that we have on the cylinder and snap the face edges so that they line perfectly up with the cylinder. This way, once they're merged on top of each other, we can then merge them together, and we'll still maintain the perfect shape of the cylinder that we've started with. So here they're all snapped together. I'm going to go, and if you look at the smooth line, there's a crease there. That's because the object is not merged together. They're like the lines are in place, but they're not merged together. So we need to select them all, go to Polygons, and then go to use the Merge tool. Once you hit the Merge tool, it will merge all those vertices together within the distance, and you'll see you have this nice curve that goes on with the object. That's what we're looking for, is these nice curves that show that the mesh is all joined. Next, when we have the cube to the cylinder, we want to merge these two together, combine them together. Go back, delete the end face here on the other end of the cylinder, and now we're going to line the two up together. Again, pull the edge of the cylinder so that it matches that face. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this cube up, okay, because we have 8 sides on the cylinder, and we need to give ourselves 8 edges on the cube to work with. So I'm using the multi-cut tool, holding down shift so that I get a perfect 50-degree snap, and then clicking, and then not dragging but clicking again in order to create these perfect 50% lines so it's equally divided. This way we now will have 8 faces or 8 edges that we can match up with the edges of our cylinder. So now holding down V, grabbing that yellow, grabbing the directional arrow, snapping it against the cube. Alright, so now that everything's fairly well lined up, what I'm going to do is trace around the cylinder, again with the multi-cut tool, until I've created an extra ring of geometry. Okay, another edge loop. And now what I'm going to do is delete all those inside faces because we're not going to need them. An easier way of doing this could be rotating the camera inside that cylinder and selecting them that way. So hit the delete key, and so now I have this little gap. Well, using the target weld, okay, instead of using the select and snap and merge, this way I can just use the target weld, and by hovering it over, sometimes it wants to be a little sticky, by hovering it over our vertice and then dragging it to our target vertice, what it'll do, or target vertex, what it'll do is it'll snap these together so that we're not moving the cylinder at all. We're just snapping and welding the vertex from the cube onto it. Yeah, some of them want to be a little sticky. Sometimes it depends on where your camera's at. Sometimes it depends on a lot of different things. The tool can be a little buggy. Sometimes it's easier just to use the hold down V, the vertex snap or point snap, and snap them to it, and then do the merge. Here, again, when you hit 3, it's going to create a nice smooth, kind of rounded piece there. And so now we need to do the top. Before doing the top, what I'm going to do is turn Show Border Edges on by going to Display, Polygons, Border Edges. What this is going to allow us to do is whenever we delete a face, it's going to highlight the edge or border edge. Whenever there's a hole or a gap, this border edge will highlight so that we know that we have an opening there. This will be very useful when we go when we're working on this object later on, because it'll show us where our unwelded vertices are, our unwelded edges are, which will have a big effect on our edge flow. So in this case, we're doing the same thing we did before. This is going to be a little bit different process. What I've done is deleted the two faces, dragged them down, and now I'm using either a split edge ring or insert edge loop in order to divide the top section in half. Because we still need those 8 edges. I think we have 6 right now. I'm going to go ahead and take this all the way across. Just create a nice full edge loop here. Take it across the bottom as well. And this just helps create good quad geometry. That way everything will smooth together. Ideally, I want to throw one across the middle as well. In this case, what I'm going to do is select the edges and hit the bridge tool. Bridge is going to bring the inside face and the outside faces together. Set the divisions down to 0, just because we only need that one there. Now I'm going to go around the side, selecting edges. Trying to be careful which ones I select, and then complete the bridge. Alternatively, what you can do is you can double click on the loop of edges, and it'll select all of them, and then you just do a control click and select the ones that are grouping them together, so you have an inside ring and an outside ring, and then you can bridge that. It works most of the time, but sometimes you can find some things that are a little bit difficult with it. It seems like the tool works a lot better than it has in previous versions. So there's a nasty little triangle that I have because I did not complete the edge loops. So I'm going to go ahead and quadify this cube over here, just so that our blends and our smoothing will work out well. So there we go. Top's attached, bottom's attached. Next, we're going to be attaching the cylinder to this tube type piece. Again, the tube type piece has 2 faces trying to go into the 8 of our cylinder. So what we're going to need to do is insert some edge loops in order to have these things work together. So Mesh Tools, insert edge loop, and then click. And then what I'm going to do is go over to the channel box, go to that poly split edge ring, click on it, change the type to multi, and our divisions to 3. And that will place 3 evenly spaced divisions on that circle. I'm sorry, on that tube. Now we finally have enough geometry to attach it. Click, vert snap, pull. Okay. Now that that's aligned, what we need to do is delete the rest of our inside geometry. Well, combine them first, then we can delete the rest of the inside geometry. So get my camera in place. Go ahead and snap these vertices up. I don't think that was quite what I was expecting it to do, but we'll fix this. There it goes. Snap that one up. Next vert, snap it up. And then what I'm going to do is go to a side view and grab the rest of the vertices and move them up so that they're flush with the geometry. So delete these faces. Okay. Now we have our inside geometry is gone. And now we want to, here we go, side view. Select those points that are a little low and then pull them up flush. And then use the Append Poly tool and click on an edge to another edge, hit enter, and it will create a polygon to fill that hole. Okay, so all I'm hitting now is the Y key in order to repeat the last tool, and then clicking on the little purple arrows to the little purple arrows. You have to be a little careful with the Append Poly. Sometimes it will attach it to an edge that you didn't necessarily expect it to, and a lot of times it's sort of like the extrude tool, where you have to be very careful where when you click and then you click again, if it didn't make the face you wanted it to make, you might still want to hit Z to undo, because it probably created one further in your model that that you didn't intend. So that's that loop there. It's now attached. While we did create some triangles, they're not the worst things in the world. We'll at a later date we'll look at how to make some more good edge flow for connecting those two types of pieces together. But for the moment, just merge them up, do Append Poly tool. All right, so for this kind of chamfer bit, what we want to do is we only need to save a little bit of the geometry from this one cylinder. So I want to select both sides of it. Oop, wrong button. Hit delete. Select the other side. Hit delete. And now all these inside faces in here, you want to go ahead and delete them. By hitting 4, we can see through the object, so we can find out which ones we need to get rid of. Go ahead and delete those faces, and then combine these two objects together. So now we have the outside piece, and you see that border edge, the border edge at the ends of what I call the mohawk. What you want to do is you want to make sure those are eventually merged together. So first thing we do is insert an edge loop in the middle of the object. Holding down shift, it'll snap. There you go. All right. Go delete these inside faces that we will not need here. So that's one strip deleted. Second strip deleted. And we're going to bridge these together. So select everything but the two end edges, divisions down to 0, and that should all connect with a proper number of edges. So all those along the bottom, skip 1, and then the same number across the top, skip the last one, just like that, and then hit bridge. Division 0. There we go. All right. Now again, with border edges turned on, we can see that there's some things that are not welded together, and so when we smooth, you can see it kind of creates some edge errors. So what I'm going to do is just group select all the little vertices here, and then do my merge tool, and then I'll weld all those together. So we can get nice clean edge flow. So I just select all these little vertices here, here, and here. Hit merge. Nice clean edge flow. Alright, so zoom out, look at the object, make sure everything's all nice and attached, and compare it to the picture over here. So there we go, looks pretty good. Hope you all enjoyed. Good luck.